really has shown us all too much in his career. Not something he really plays a whole ton of in solo queue. We know it's incredibly strong. And yeah, hoping this time around we get to see a better performance coming out with this bot lane duo. Especially if they're going to keep playing around like bruiser-esque champions in top lane like the Aatrox. I mean, Senna in my mind just complements that so well.
Yeah. And to be fair, qiuqiu loves his Rakan and Beichuan, Tahm Kench. The W is pretty much the same. So, therefore, qiuqiu is probably a great Tahm Kench.
Honestly, I actually like the logic. I'm gonna go with it. Is here, I was gonna say how much like I'd love to see something like Italia come through, but I think the Azir is important. We saw it taken in game 1. I also just don't love giving away Senna Tahm Kench with the Azir. It just feels so hard to play against that range. Like the further you get into the game.
Yeah, it feels impossible, doesn't it? The Azir locked in for Cryin. Talia is up and available. It's been kind of the premier mid lane pick, I would say, so far in this series. Also, worth mentioning, I'm pretty sure Orianna just got another win. That's 2 wins in the LPL for Orianna after that last game. But no, K'Sante taken for Hoya, switching the matchup around a little bit. And now they can tailor that solo lane if they want to, or maybe focus on the jungle.
Yeah, I love the takeaway after how good of a game 1 that YSKM had. And hell, they could have just ran back what they had in game 1, right? Had that kind of strong Exodia-esque, you know, highest pick rate across the board LPL composition. So now going to take the Aatrox out of his hands. You wonder now if they'll ban away something like the Jax. Again, Gwen always highlighted as something that can be played in the K'Sante as well, but something that we really don't see all too often in the LPL. You don't need a whole lot of damage to round out IG's composition. Like, they already have a really solid damage profile. So now I want to see, do TT take away Maokai on 4? Because that could be the play.
We'll see if they go for that Maokai, like you say. I feel like it's such a good pick. Incredibly strong in the meta. It would be 3 tanks on the side of TT. I feel like you do have space to go for something more aggressive in the jungle if you chose to. Like, Beichuan could even go for like maybe a Brand or a Lilia if they wanted to go for an AP jungler with the AD top lane. AD carry could be an option.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what would fit their composition? Like you said, actually, their front line is already quite intimidating to deal with. But now, with the Orianna Tristana off the board, that kind of leaves Akali, Corki as the go-tos in your mind. Things like the LeBlanc, of course, still there if Ucal wanted to go towards that one. But yeah, I think the Maokai would just be very strong with what IG have. So even if TT could have fit more damage into their composition, I still think I lean towards the Maokai now. But now it's going to be up to Ucal to get something that really is able to dish it out. But hey, when that Corki is still alive, like, you have plenty of options as TT on pick 5.
Yeah, you certainly do. See what they have to answer first, though. The Rel available. It's a jungler for Tianzhen. Another hard engage jungler, like the Jarvan last game. Work out super well for them, but the Rel incredibly consistent and so good at stealing away camps as well. The one-shot potential on those camps is insane. And now YSKM has to choose what he wants to take up against this K'Sante. Loves his Yone, loves his Fiora, but is he willing to take them into this S+++ tier top laner?
And okay, he's gonna do it. I'm once again gonna have some question marks in terms of being able to jump in on what TT picked up. We already highlighted the Corki. I feel like it just round out what TT have so perfectly. Like, you're gonna have so much range to play off. You have so much front line. It's gonna be really hard for the Yone to find any key targets with him just being able to W away, having to deal with the Devour coming out from the Tahm Kench. I think this could be a tough game for YSKM, but if he does manage to find an impact somehow, it's gonna be so impressive.
It really will. Let's see what YSKM can do. It's a tough one for him. Ucal picking up the Corki. It's something he built a name for himself on in the LPL in his first split. Not necessarily a good name, though. I
remember
you and Ox
raving about that for weeks. I was gonna say, I guess it did happen over, weeks long period.
It was me and Orcs cast him 2 series in a row, and both times he picked Corki, and both times he Valkyried into the enemy team and just got one shot. And ever since, just valking in and getting one shot is named the Ucal. We named the play after him because it was just too tremendous. I think he's grown quite a bit as a player since then. You know, since then he's been solo killing top names in the LPL. So I have more faith in his Corki now than I did back then. Let's see though, if TT can finish this one out in style. They managed to win the second game, but IG coming in dominant in game number 1, and then such an exciting draft for game number 2. I'm kind of on board the IG hype trade at this point. I want to see what they can do, but it does feel tough. It feels like they're getting heavily outranged.
Yeah, I love the composition TT put together, but we've seen them play this style before. They were not able to pull it across the finish line of having to concede some things early on and play around those package timings. So TT gonna have to show us another dimension to be able to get themselves another series win.
Let's see if they can find it. IG versus TT, game number 3, as we head back onto Summoner's Rift. Oh, there we go. We got some gyros this time. It was nice and clean.
I also love the fact that like the TT fans kind of like picked up from the first gyros we heard, where it felt like the energy was on the side of IG now, incredibly close to match where we are at in the series itself. Oh no!
Oh no, Ucal! Wink not willing to start the bubble. Oh, I feel like it was a bubble angle for sure. You know, like I mean, feel like you could maybe get a kill.
Yeah, still, it's going to be a really big advantage in the lane for Cryin. Also having the fleet, like he's going to be fine trading some of his HP just to get Ucal a little bit lower down.
Yeah.
In that department, as we can already see, having to burn potion.
Yeah, this is going to be tough for Ucal. Trying to get his first strike, I think, before the damage came down. Although I suppose it'd be a cooldown from the level 1 anyway. YSKM dropped a ward onto the red buff before moving up to the top side, which does mean that he has completely foregone any control of the lane before level 2 here. That should be a huge advantage up top for Hoya, at least in the short term. Ucal is really feeling the brunt of those Sand Soldiers right now, already down to 200 HP in the lane. Is he going to actually just recall at this stage? Damn, that is a brutal start for Ucal.
Yeah, I really don't feel like there's an option with the fact that Cryin hitting level 2 can look for some kind of all-in, and then a flash would have to come out as compared to just having to use the TP a little bit earlier and you know, hopefully being able to survive the lane until that one comes up once again.
Yeah. I don't know, it's on the one hand, I agree, it's definitely correct to not die. But on the other hand, it's so painful, especially on Corki, because you need to get that tier on your first recall, you need to get that stacking up. So not being able to recall and TP for the tier, it's really rough on the Corki.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like his only option in that situation would be somehow to gain like power to rewind time and just go back and make sure that level 1 never happens.
Yeah, where's Zillion at? We need we need Zillion in this game.
You know, I actually do miss me some Zillion, because we only ever had, who was it, Twyla? I believe Twyla was only the only Zillion player we ever really had, like over these past few years in the LPL, and sadly he exited very shortly after we started casting the league.
Yeah. I remember his Zillion mid was something to behold, but alas, it was short-lived. I will say, he had a couple of pretty good games. I remember casting one of his triple kills on his Zillion mid. That was definitely fun.
Cassiopeia as well. I believe he was the other Cassiopeia player, along with, you know, we eventually got Shanks coming in, who did also play that one heavily at first.
Yeah, big LDL pick Cassiopeia for both of those players. Beichuan moving into the top side. YSKM, is he going to queue aggressively? Because that would be scary. Here we go. Hoya setting up the play. The slow is in. The twisted advance is in. The knockback is in. The flash is out. And beautiful bit of play from YSKM to escape.
Yeah, Hoya trying to predict where YSKM would be with that Q3. Flashes to the side. Great by him. So now TT going to be able to find pressure in top lane after bleeding out so much in the mid lane. Recall is just going to come out for now. And speaking of Corki, having to recall for that tier like you were hitting on earlier, just right now. Yeah,
then has to just do the walk of shame back to the lane here. I wonder if Cryin, I think he will TP,
yeah.
I wasn't sure if he'd like like walk back to the lane to try and have TP advantage and maybe make a play somewhere else on the map using the TP, but I suppose you're on a Azir. Arn's in trouble here and has to cleanse away from the exhaust. And this is what we were talking about earlier. Tahm Kench Senna has a surprising amount of presence in lane. I
mean, Tahm Kench in my mind has always had like strong laning powers, right? Even just things like the Tongue Lash, able to do so much. But summoners were traded evenly, right? 1xN using his heal and then exhaust coming out from qiuqiu. So I think it's going to be really hard for either side to find a meaningful advantage without jungle intervention. With Dragon up now, though, Tianzhen wrapping around the lane. No wards to spot him out, but they are just letting this one get pushed in freely, so not going to be able to find any type of gank.
No, I think mostly just trying to deny any potential play coming out from Beichuan there. Stop any shenanigans. And Tianzhen now spots Beichuan in the jungle. I don't know if he got seen himself, but certainly has been now. Beichuan will chase him out. Tianzhen, are we going to look for a dive here? Cryin hasn't cleared the wave just yet. That's an early Valkyrie out from Ucal. Flash available for him, but this could get really scary. Level 6 for Cryin has the Emperor's Divide. Oh, Ucal, you could be in serious trouble here. Beichuan moving over. Beichuan will check the brush, and that should, luckily for Ucal, defuse the play.
Yeah, and all of this still just stemming from that earlier, level 1, Emperor's Divide. Not going to be able to do anything. I respect the attempt, but...
Yeah. Bit of a weird one. I think maybe just ulting, kind of like how people use Orianna a lot of the time. Just ulting for pressure, ulting to force him out of lane again. TP still on cooldown. So Cryin can basically just shove this next wave for free. There's nothing Beichuan can do about it either. And it'll continue to expand this CS lead that Cryan's got for himself, all off of this level 1 play. He's going to be basically 20 CS up.
Yeah, overall, I think also in part due to the call being to start Grubs right now. Because I think he would have been able to just force him out naturally anyway, but that would have probably taken, catching another 1 or 2 waves. So, definitely if they wanted to go for this objective now, the Emperor's Divide makes a lot of sense. YSKM is pan back to top. Still trying to find trades, is falling pretty desperately down in the CS department.
He certainly is. Beichuan moving to the top side. 2 Grubs taken by IG, but not willing to stay, as Cryin did go for a reset himself. Looking for 1xN, but root down. Won't be able to find it, and oh boy, YSKM can't dash away with his ultimate. Doesn't have flash available. Q3 flash comes through, and it's Hoya grabbing first blood.
Great job by Hoya. I mean, after game 1, it seems like Hoya wanting to be the one to grab the game by the horns, make sure his impact is known. Also, just a lot more focus, a lot more like observer attention and matchups warranting us to care about top lane today.
Yeah. I think it's because YSKM's playing. I know he's a huge fan favorite over in China. I think he's quite a big fan favorite in the West as well, to be fair. But it is a 30 CS lead up top right now in favor of Hoya. That will be ever so slightly minimized on this wave, but it's a tough position for YSKM right now. And on the opposite side of the map, IG at least will find themselves this Drake using that Lucian Nami priority and the priority from the mid lane to get themselves this Drake.
Okay, just waiting to see if they can find the bubble. And again, I'm really curious to see how this plays out because I do kind of favor TT's draft, but we really haven't seen, like, again, good quirky packages or even decent execution of this kind of composition from TT. So it does open up chances, I think, for IG to just find advantages and snowball ahead elsewhere like they are in mid. We're going to see here the CC comes through. YSKM not able, doesn't have that W up in time to try to use that one to get out. Then Hoya connecting the Q3 after the flash. Just guarantee play. Tianzhen now going to try and take this blue buff, but I don't know if he can.
He's committing to it. The reset doesn't go on through, and there we go. Smites it down. And that jungle camp damage is really scary. Rel so good at just clearing those camps away. And we'll be able to find a bit of an invade for himself. So it's a Drake up in favor of IG. They got 2 Grubs to 1. Which will deny TT having any chance of getting the 5 or 6 Grubs. Won't be able to get the mites for themselves, but IG still can if they get the next 3.
Yeah, now they're going to be more conscious of at least distractions coming from across the world, as 1xN now has level 6. So hell, even in terms of the top lane 1v1, where we've seen both top laners very willing to look for trades, now might even be slightly more TT lopsided. But it's interesting, right? Because I feel like we've still seen both teams like pressure for a lot of opportunities like this, like just seeing a lot of kind of small punches coming back and forth, but neither team wanting to overcommit into any sort of play, leaving us with our slowest game of the series so far. But I feel like it's deserved.
Yeah, to be fair, it's not saying a lot either. Like,
yeah,
we've had some pretty quick games in this series, so not necessarily quick as in game time, but quick as in the pacing of the game. It does feel like both these teams, you know, with where they are in the standings, how their split has been going so far, they do need the wins on the board. They can't afford to just risk anything. So I totally understand the more patient pace.
I think especially for IG, like if IG win this one, they have found wins over Ultra Prime, RA, and TT. Like they're just doing a lot to differentiate you from the teams, you know, that are now like should probably end up below you. It was a 2-0 over Ultra Prime. It was a 2-0 over RA. Like they've been pretty convincing wins coming out from IG against some of the lower tier teams.
Yeah. And it's worth mentioning that these are teams, like both TT and IG in my mind, are teams that will be towards the bottom of that playoffs conversation, right? It's possible for these teams to make it to the middle of the table and to make it into playoffs. And it's these kinds of matchups that will decide that. If you can beat the teams below you, you're much more likely to be able to make it in to that coveted top 10. YSKM trying to bait Hoya in here, Tianzhen in the area. Hoya is playing Cassante, he might just walk away, and he does.
I did just pull up our power rankings to see where we had both these teams. Yeah, we both had TT in playoffs. You had them at 10th, I had them at 9th. You had more respect for IG, you had them 12th, I had them 14th. So, you know, so far it's definitely looking like you are going to be closer, the closer one out of the truth of the situation.
I'm excited to see what the points end up looking like, because there are ways to get negative points in those power rankings. Oh, the bubble lands, but it's ult for ult. And, well, center time catch. Nothing happens. Or does it? qiuqiu's still getting hammered away on it. He's still got a lot of HP. It doesn't feel like Odd really does enough yet to threaten that time catch.
No, his Cryin does enough to threaten Ucal. Ucal is so afraid of this man. And this is where IG have been able to like keep hope in my mind in this game. Is just the advantage that Cryin is finding, whittling down the mid lane turret in terms of plates.
On. He's going to be rooted right in front of the tower. That's Cleanse. That is a tough one. Stepping a little too far forwards there and punished for it. As Tianzhen, is he looking for a dive down here? I don't think so. He's going to back away.
This could set up for potentially a TT Rift Herald play. Actually might be hard just with how much Ucal is struggling. Has no mana right now and can't even go for a recall because his TP's not up. Looks like he once again is just going to have to say, screw it, go for it, and do the walk of shame.
Yeah, could be the only solution. Package is up.
True.
So we'll be able to grab that, and, you know, it does help you get back a little bit faster. And when I say a little bit, I mean a lot faster.
A lot, yeah. But now I want to see TT actually use it, not give up too much. I feel like the package is such a game changer in terms of like how strong of a champion Corki is, but it really has to be used to separate a fight. They might not get a chance.
Oh no, Beichuan down. I mean, what are you going to use the package for now? He could use it to do a Ucal.
Yeah,
but
true.
I don't know if that's necessarily the play that Ucal wants to go for.
I don't want to highlight.
He's named after that play.
They need to be decisive because YSKM's pushing top.
They've gone in. Ucal's going to be knocked up. He's almost under Ucal there, but flashes out to safety. Rail good across the team, and Hoya is onto Arn. Forces the flash, forces the dash, but cannot get that kill. Tianzhen next on the chopping block as Hoya gets out with his life. Q3 available for the knockback. Cryin goes in and instantly knocked up, but gets the Shurima shuffle. Hoya gets one anyway, though, somehow living on and almost took out Arn.
Gets pushed right into Tianzhen. So it ends up, I mean, still in favor of IG. But yeah, that could have ended up going a bit worse with no one going down. TT even surprisingly gonna manage to pick up this Drake. So yeah, that one was a weird one.
That's a really weird one. I mean, the health bar's so low for IG at the end of it that, honestly, I think you take the result as TT.
And we're seeing, right, look at River. No vision for TT with the control wards that were put down by IG. And here, they know they have to go fast because YSKM has TP, the Cassante walk down. Problem is, a little bit too fast for Ucal to pretty much just jump in all by his lonesome. Hoya still trying to make magic happen by getting on top of On, but with the flash, with the dash, just can't stay on top. And then, yeah, poor Tianzhen.
Yeah. Cryin, I love the attempt, but great little cue from Hoya. Denies his initial swoop in. Does knock Hoya back in the end.
I mean,
a split second longer life, and that's a double kill.
I kind of blamed Cryin for Tianzhen going down, but Tianzhen actually had plenty of time to be like, wait, I have 10% HP. I provide no value here.
Yeah.
See you later, boys.
And there's no universe that Cryin isn't screaming down the mic, I'm TPing, I'm going for the play, you know, like.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's on Cryin at that point. But either way, we're pretty much dead even on gold at this stage. Both teams kind of picking up some standing gold around the map now. 1xN and qiuqiu trying to defend. I don't think this is a defensible position. And they will take down the tier 1 in the mid lane. But one thing we were talking about before, I think YSKM has just nearly solo killed Ucal, who's having a really tough time in this one. But I feel like TT, even though they went down in kill score, taking that Drake and essentially adding 5 minutes to the game, in theory, I think they're happy with that. With the Corki center composition, I think you're happy for this to just go as long as possible. TP from Ucal. YSKM in all sorts of trouble. The roots go wide, the ultimate goes in, and YSKM looking pretty good on it so far. The knockup comes through, but the shield is there. It's 1v3, there's only so much the man can do. A fair attempt, but taken out.
It does look like IG are going to try and answer back in top with the bot lane duo moving up here. Hoya paying the respect he needs to. So, not going to go down in the end. Might set up for Cryin to be able to find this turret. And yeah, we're just going to keep answering back, right? We'll put them one turret up. We're going to go to the replay of what happened here bot side. Oh, is this before the play came out? Okay, so just catches him recalling. A bit unfortunate. Does use the flash here, which is something I noticed on the screen. Ucal didn't have flash, so I think for Ucal, it's like, cool, not the end of the world. I didn't get solo killed, didn't have any sums even to burn. And at the end of the day, they TP in, and they're able to find the kill themselves. And I mean, TT are dedicating 4 members down to this play. Holy fight, though, Joe.
Oh, we're going on live. Great punish from TT to use the fact that Flash was on cooldown for YSKM, but I think trade honestly favors IG, right? Like, they got the tower up in the top side. Ultimately, getting those objectives is what wins you the game. A tough game here for YSKM as he's caught out once again. The fight in the mid lane just diffused instantly. Nothing ends up happening in the end. Gold's still 500 apart. We're in touching distance. And only 3 groups were picked up as well. So no sizable advantage in either camp. Even Drakes are even.
I still think a lot's just going to come down to how disciplined TT are. Ucal getting closer to the Malignance every second, and when he's online with that, I mean, that's when he's really going to be doing some damage. Like, sure, you have the sustain coming out from the Nami, but that's definitely not going to be enough, especially once 1xN starts picking up some souls too, right? Like, you're gonna be getting hit from every angle with no way to answer back, except full-on sending it.
Well, that's always my favorite answer anyway. I
right?
love a full-on send. That's always the best solution. Drake up in 40 seconds. Let's see if the full send is an option. Package in the pocket of Ucal. Could not get his Malignance. Just got the Fiendish Codex on that recall. Let's see how he's able to use this package to TT's effect here. Tianzhen still has that Rift Herald. I think he's probably going to drop it down mid here. I feel like it's going to be close to timing out again.
Yeah, he's going to have to. I like that IG are still using their split push pressure from the Yone to try to either pull TT away from the play or just force them to have to take some losses. IG might not even think about contesting the Drake.
This Herald is just going to get taken down here. Unfortunate. I think it was basically timing out. But the wave's arriving as it's placed, so will be just cleared.
It sets up for the Yone. I mean, look, YSKM's getting a tower unbothered, unfettered, just left alone. Split push against the Yone. Package now has to be wasted.
Hoya takes a huge chunk. Wave finally cleared by TT. The Drake down to 5k. Tianzhen in the area with Smite up. And now the TP comes through from YSKM. It's going to be a full-on 5v5, but the tidal wave is a bit of a whiff. Aren't getting a bit of damage onto Hoya. Beichuan still there, looking for the smite as the roots come through. Tianzhen to step too far forward, the qiuqiu, but he gets the Drake! They kept on DPSing. Railgun for the shield as YSKM's into the back line here. qiuqiu tanking for his team. Beichuan flashes out to safety as qiuqiu, the sacrifice. 2 kills into the pocket of Cryin, and IG get everything.
IG really just taking advantage of TT there, not knowing how to handle the side lane pressure, not really knowing what they want to do in mid with the package. And now IG picking up Drake out of nowhere and also finding the kills. Now, the game that has been so close, in 500 gold distance now, 2k gold lead for IG. And I mean, we get brought in now, but I feel like the mistakes have really already been made by TT with how much time they wasted. Tianzhen really going to be the benefactor here. Starts walking forward, and then Hoya going to Q3 him in even closer to the Drake, where, yeah, Smite able to come through, doesn't come through from Beichuan, and then Cryin, the real hero with that Emperor's Divide.
Yeah, fantastical coming out from Cryin. And, you know, Ucal and 1XN hitting the Dragon there when it was on 3k. That's just a huge mistake. That is just a huge fumble on the side of TT. That was not a Drake that needed to be 50-50'd. And now, IG in the driver's seat, very much so. They've got the gold lead, they've got an extra Drake for themselves, and they've got control of the Baron pit for now. But I'm mostly just looking at where their players are in terms of item spikes as well. Arn on 2 items, Cryin on 2 items, in fact Arn 2.5 with the Blood Song as well. They are in a position now where they can start to enact their will upon TT.
Yeah, now going to be playing from a great position. And this kind of brings it back earlier to why I said, like, I might kind of like what TT put together more, but when I see this picked in LPL, I don't have a lot of confidence that this is going to win. IG, they've kind of picked the stock and standard outside of the Yone, but still just using it as a side lane to pull them apart. IG, yep, okay, gonna have to back this one off. Definitely no way.
Yeah.
No way they can even threaten to turn this into a turn onto TT's members.
I do like that they start it though, because it's like, look, we probably don't get this Baron. There's like maybe 5% of games where we get this Baron. But in the scenario where TT don't call our bluff, we just get Baron. You can easily 2-man with a 2-item Azir that's got a Leandri's and a Nash's Tooth. Like, that would be Baron if TT don't respond. So I think it's correct to start it, even if you realistically don't think it's happening.
Exactly. I love that you point that out, because even just like think to our top teams, right? I think our top teams are some of the fastest teams to turn to just going onto Baron and already knowing like exactly what they want to do it for. Like, if nothing happens, it's fine. If this happens, we do this. And yeah, just it's nice when teams can realize like, hey, actually just starting this really doesn't really mean anything. Let's see what the other team's doing. Because hell, you can ask Weibo. That has won some games this split already.
It certainly has. And I feel like a lot of it, like the way that teams play around Baron changed a lot when Honeyfruit came into the game. Like, now that there's a bit more sustain coming in, and especially when you're playing competition like the army and stuff like that, you're happy to take a little bit of damage from Baron. Back in the day, Baron was a lot scarier than Baron is these days. I feel like you can't really just infinitely tank Baron in the way that you used. You didn't used to be able to infinitely tank Baron in the way that you can now.
Actually, Baron's home is a lot scarier, though. All that terrain. We once again have a sequence, kind of like we did last game, where both teams feel comfortable enough to get in melee distance, but neither one really happy to look for the engage. Looks like On had to use that culling somewhere.
And we go back to the quiet status quo here. TT, I don't know whether they're happy with that or not. I think they probably are at the minute. Oh my days.
Maybe not.
That's Beichuan's ult. Burn. Nicely done by Odd. Just jumps in, chunks him, gets his ult out, backs off. Lovely.
Yeah, just one single combo, right? Again, his calling looks like it had gotten used previously, and he's going to keep looking for it.
And in the
Feels
meantime,
fine.
Tianzhen and Cryin start the Baron once again.
And
But
they're
again tested.
Exactly, they're just doing this dance because they have YSKM putting up so much pressure down in bot lane. Hoya wants to be there. I mean, right, TT's composition is a lot more oriented to looking for that 5v5, so he's hoping to be there so they can, like, take someone out fast enough or just find the engage before any sort of TP play can come through, but it's really just helping IG further this gold lead. And now we get to see Munch. Can Ucal succeed in not pulling a Ucal? I hope so.
That's the question. And I will say, they've done a good job of timing the packages with Drakes. Drake spawns and packages up once again. How well do they use it? Leaning towards the Baron at TT. Forget the Drake, they say. You can have Soul Point if you like, but if you go that direction, we're going to take the Baron. IG using the Sun Disc to get priority in the mid lane. For TT, they're just going to start this one off. Tianzhen has to face check in here, but this could be dangerous, honestly. This is down to 10k. They're not really rushing it. They want the fight here to TT. They're not actually looking for the objective right now. They're looking to set Ucal up to just poke away. Tianzhen now moving in. Q3 knocks him closer. Takes a good old chunk. The root is there as well. Followed back by another root. The railgun through, but is it enough? Saved. Is the mid laner has now pulled over Tianzhen down. That's the jungler taken. And TT, great bit of objective play coming out from them. Can they follow it up with more? Looking for another engage here. Force the flash out from the enemy team. And that's another flash as well. The CC is all immaculate from TT. And YSKM dives in. Beichuan twisted advanced. He's baited in and forced the flash back out.
That is one time I can't just blame Beichuan for that. Jeez, that was unlucky. But now gonna be able to turn it into a Drake. So now both teams sitting at 2 apiece. This game's still gonna be going at a similar place it has all game. We do have TP coming out in top from Cryin. So IG are hoping to find something off of this. And oh, Munch, we actually have pings going onto the Baron.
Oh, they might just be able to burn this down. There's no vision. Oh, there's vision behind it, and a TP immediately comes out from both solo laners of TT. They're not going to let this go without a fight. Beichuan moving over qiuqiu on 1xn. Not far behind either. I don't know if IG can commit to this one, honestly. YSKM dips back out. He doesn't have his ultimate available right now. As they charge them down, the rockets are doing damage, and the jungler falls. No, Redemption pulls him back in. The crash down across the team. Can they turn it? Jungler down. YSKM on the front line right now, but he has to back away. On with the culling, but he can't find a good target. Beichuan is left alone though, and should be traded. But qiuqiu jumps in to try and save him. The sustain is crazy from TT, and it's a 1-1 in the end. Cryin wants a little bit more, but Beichuan gets away.
These fights are so close. I actually thought that this could have been a lot worse for TT, but no ults up at the start of that fight, really, for either side. IGs were closer, but still TT were able to get in fast enough to not give that option. I feel like that's why IG feels so awkward here, because they're like, hey, our ults are about to come up. Tianzhen does it the very last second here, which is when he just throws it out. Sadly, not able to find the best one across the whole team, which means he goes down first. But then the culling, and then more importantly, Cryin here is going to do a great job of separating the other members of TT, which at least allows IG to answer back with a kill for themselves.
I've got to be honest, when 1xn and qiuqiu recommit to the fight there, I thought that was going to be disaster for TT. I thought they were just going to sacrifice Beichuan, and they do get out with just Beichuan going down, but it felt real close for qiuqiu there, and 1xn having to flash away from YSKM as well.
I do want to say, I feel like going back kind of a little while now, because a lot's happened too. When TT initially were forcing the Baron, I do feel like it could have been a bit better and like maybe even got more off that. Because having your Corki in the pit with package is very awkward, right? Because then he has to package into the enemy team. As compared to if they've been playing with him around the edge of the pit. Then could have had a much better angle to use that package now. No time to figure that out.
On uses the culling quite early on. 4k on the Baron. They're just going to burn this. It's going to be taken. IG grab the purple worm, and it's a huge ult combo as well. IG, they find their moment. Hoya with a Q3, but I don't know if this is a fight he can really take. Taken down, and TT left to run to their bases. IG finally get the goal they've been looking for.
And now, no front line up for the side of TT. Only the Tom can shoot, right? Your support, I mean, is getting gold, so is a bit tankier with the Kanig Rooker and the Sunfire. But still, IG should have a fine time just being able to force this one in. and at the very least, potentially get this inhibitor turret. What if they'll back off, actually, and pivot towards bot, because there already is a wave.
Yeah, the respawns are coming through as well. I wonder if they're just too nervous to really commit to anything. Go for the reset first. You've still got that Baron, and already, like, they had the side lane threat with the Yone, so they can use the Baron effectively. Let's take another look, because this was chaos.
I mean, and this is what we said, right? It's why you kind of do just willy-nilly start up a Baron and see if you can get one in time. A great ultimate coming out from YSKM, sets up for the flash. We fall through the Magnet Storm from Tianzhen. And now it's a split fight. Your Maokai's already down. IG can just keep running these members of TT down one by one. YSKM, who's been struggling to find like a real impact outside of the split pushing, finally having his huge moment.
He certainly has. And, you know, TT, their ideal fight is a really long, slow one, and IG just brute forcing these Barons is making TT just go for these shock engages, you know. It's making them try and contest in a more rushed way than they're comfortable with. The culling almost cuts 1xN in half. And
almost took away your voice.
Well, look, when it gets exciting, I get high-pitched. It's just the way the world works. A redemption coming on through here. On back to half HP again already somehow. And IG, this is looking fantastic as Hoya getting dived by YSKM at this point.
And let's remember that early on, Hoya was actually like significantly ahead of YSKM in terms of items. Now, I mean, they just look like they don't really know how to deal with the IG siege. It's going to be hard for them to really get past this Baron. And I kind of feel like TT's best mark is, oh, those rockets are hitting.
Here we go, TP behind enemy lines, but Ucal's done it. Ucal! It's an absolute nightmare. Chocho looking for on here. Hoya has to make a miracle happen. On the target, dodges the pop-up, and Chocho's down already. And this is double for the Lucian. He somehow survived. And now they can move into the base here. Beichuan just about gets out of range of Cryin's ultimate. That could have been a disaster. And I don't think they can end the game, but they might get 2 inhibitors. Maybe they can end. I don't know if 1xN is enough damage to take on all 5 players.
It is going to be a close one. Culling going to be up once again for On, so he's going to be able to chunk them low and send them right to Fountain.
Oh yeah. Buffers his W, keeps himself safe, gets back onto that Fountain, and yeah, IG call off the play for now. Drake is on the map, and they will be able to pick up another Hextech Drake. On, sent back towards the enemy by Cryin. But that will be soul point for IG. They are on the cusp, but honestly, I do feel they have been the better team so far today. It feels like this will be a correct result if IG finish the game off.
Oh, I agree, especially in terms of the map play. And Ucaling once again. You know, I know there's an argument to be made for, like, you know, practicing these sorts of comps and champions you're not familiar with. But when you're about to fall to, you know, 1 and 3 in terms of series score, TT might need to pivot, because once again, when they lean on this style of composition, when they lean on picks like the Corki, the Senna, the Tom, it just really like doesn't look like they know how to set themselves up in positions to do well. Again, it's already getting tough, but I'm gonna keep thinking back to that earlier Baron where I felt like Ucal could have had a huge package across the team fight.
Yeah, I feel like as well, Akali was available here. This was maybe more of an Akali angle. You've got your Chocho keeps on going in, Hoya keeps going in, Beichuan keeps going in. I feel like there's space for Akali to play. TT preferring the Corki. Like you say, it's not really working out for them. And off the back of such a tough early game with Ucal get caught out in the level 1. He's managed to survive, and I'm sure like when we look at the damage charts at the end, he's probably done a lot of damage with the Malignants, but ultimately, it doesn't matter if you can't connect the kills. If they still get to siege like this, does it really matter what your damage numbers are?
No, I completely agree, right? It's about the impact that you have on the game, and Ucal really hasn't been able to find too much as Tidal Wave comes out to try to force them back.
Ooh, Valkyrie out from Ucal keeps him alive. YSKM has to dip from the play. Railgun to the mid lane. YSKM survives with a bit of redemption from his team, but the top tower crucially protected by TT. They are keeping themselves in this one.
I'm a bit surprised that TT didn't try and sprinkle more damage on the top side of that fight when Hoya's Q3 connected. Maybe not expecting it to connect, or kind of just throwing abilities out to force him out of your base. But maybe a bit more could have been done. But like you said, they do end up buying time. How much time we'll see, because now Baron's going to be up in 15 seconds. They're already relying and using the open inhibitors in mid and bot really well, putting up a ton of that pressure in top side, and they might find another pick here very soon.
Hoya has to be the one to face check, but even Cassante could be in trouble here. Has to flash, and, well, unfortunate for him, but, I mean, who else is the one to do it? I think the only answer is do it with more teammates, but right now, Beichuan is just doing blue buff. This is going to be a Baron absolutely for free.
Yeah, I guess the only way you could have done that better is if you have qiuqiu right alongside him and, have the Devour there and use that instead of the Flash. But you're right, not too many opportunities when you're going up against what is now a full build Lucian. Sweet.
Terrifying. Absolutely
Right.
terrifying. I have a question. Do you reckon Blood Song at this point, when you've got enough gold for your next item, do you sell Blood Song and go for a tier 3 item, or is the exposed weakness so valuable that you just keep the Blood Song?
I feel like keeping it would be pretty solid, especially I feel like the Vision too. He's just gone.
He just walked forwards. He just walked straight into the culling. I think he was maybe trying to attack move the soul or something, and maybe had champion target toggled on or something. I don't know. That was funky. He survives. That's all that matters at the end of the day. But the Devour on cooldown, where he gets absolutely chunked out. The damage coming out from this IG comp is terrifying.
Yeah, I mean they just hit so hard, and they have so many non-committal tools to deal damage as well, which is funny because that's what we really should be saying about TT and the range that they drafted. But now, eyes on Ucal once again. This game should be over, but I'm excited to see if they can bring it back.
Let's see what they can do. Hoya taking so much damage already. The shields across the team. YSKM, what an ulti, but it doesn't really lead to anything in this. YSKM on 1 HP here. TT surviving. 1 Nexus tower down, 3 inhibs down. Can they hold on? They're trying their damnedest to stay in this game, but Hoya, he's gone too far forwards. A TP from Ucal, who had left the base, and his TP gets interrupted. TT still pretty much all alive, but not anymore. Cryin has had enough. IG, it was excruciating, but they do finally finish the job.
I feel like you said something in the last 10 minutes that would not, just resonated with me much. IG did just look like the better team, despite how close this game or this series was, especially in terms of their map play, right? Just the moments where TT feel like they're giving up too much. IG being one of these teams that are comfortable utilizing a side laner and playing to YSKM strengths is feeling really good. I feel like especially in this meta where not too many teams are leaning too heavily into sides, also means that IG kind of just looks like one of the more competent teams in general in LPL in this area. And yeah,